probably hiked Mount Washington about a dozen or so times, and what's amazing about those hikes and what's amazing about that mountain to me is that I can remember every single one of those hikes in detail. Mount Washington does that to you. There's a mystique and a history and a culture behind this particular mountain that is, I think, unique to the climbing community and to the tourism community and to the culture of New England and actually to the United States. Whether you hike Mount Washington, whether you go up the Cog, whether you eat a hot dog at the top or don't, whether you're hiking the AT or you're not, when you come back down off of Mount Washington, you'll be changed. About 15 years ago, I moved up to New Hampshire from New Jersey, and I quickly fell in love with New Hampshire's White Mountains. About 5 years ago, I wrote a book called The Adventures of Buffalo and Tough Cookie. It was my first book. I spent a whole year with my then foster daughter, Janelle, hiking in the White Mountains and exploring the state and becoming a hiker. That book was followed up by a book on Nepal. I was married in Kathmandu. We spent a couple of months trekking in the upper Himalayas. That book was published by Hobblebush Books, and Hobblebush is actually going to be publishing this book, The White Mountain. So, what I'm going to attempt to do over the course of 1 year is take part in as many events, find as many characters, immerse myself in as many experiences on the mountain as I'm able. So, this journey will also be my own journey. There's the Mount Washington Road Race. It's 7.6 miles or so to the summit. Can I keep up with all of those runners who are going to be running this race? No way, not even close. But what I do hope to do during the course of the race is find some of the interesting characters and people who've run this race over the years. There's also a car race. There's a bicycle race. There's a Guinness Book of World Records day. Then there's the Cog Railroad on the other side of the mountain, and we'll be exploring that as well. And we'll be exploring the weather. Mount Washington, of course, is known as having some of the worst weather in the world. So during January, I'm going to be up at the top of Mount Washington for a whole week, cooking for the members of the observatory. So those are just some of the things that I'm going to be doing. The opportunities for me to really immerse myself and get involved in Mount Washington in all sorts of ways are going to be unique. There's a lot of books written about specific parts of Mount Washington. But as far as I know, there's no compendium of the mountain that tracks the culture and the characters of the mountain over the course of a long period of time. And that's my goal. And that's what I hope you'll help me with. In July of 2016, I'm going to start researching, finding the characters, doing the interviews, taking the trips, setting the time aside. So for 18 months, this is basically going to be my job. And that's what you're all going to be helping me with, to put this book together. To give back to you, I'll actually also be broadcasting these things. We'll have our own Facebook page, for example. I'll be sending pictures and snippets and pieces and video back from all of these things that I'm doing. So this campaign is about getting me on the ground or up into the air and into the clouds, as the case may be, to be able to bring this book to you.